Welcome to our presentation featuring an introduction to a powerful and affordable analytics solution, an intro to the SAP BI Suite. It's great to have you with us. I'm Lori Blandford, and I'm the Marketing Manager at Done Solutions Group. And today's presenter is Manish Motiramani, and he is one of our Business Intelligence Managers. And I'm going to begin with a brief introduction to Done Solutions Group and our BI expertise, and then I'll turn it over to Manish for the majority of the presentation. If you have any questions during the presentation, please do submit them via the GoToWebinar toolbar that you have. There's a questions box, and we will receive them. I know that Manish has a full hour planned today for the presentation, so we probably won't have the opportunity to answer those questions, but we do promise to follow up by email with answers, so we do encourage you to submit them. Okay, let's get started with introduction to Done Solutions Group. We were founded over 25 years ago, and we are a full-service information technology consulting firm. We design, develop, and deliver a wide range of technology solutions using a variety of advanced tools with offices in Chicago, Minneapolis, Raleigh, and Bangalore, India. Our offerings fall into three unique practice areas: application development solutions. These include custom app development, mobile app development, e-commerce portals, and web design. Business intelligence solutions. These include end-to-end BI solutions, dashboards, reporting and analytics, mobility, and other advanced BI capabilities. And also package solutions. These include software services offerings for specific vertical markets or unique and customized needs. In addition, we do offer training solutions that include classroom, on-site, virtual, and custom training. Our clients include some of the biggest names in American business, as well as many mid-market companies and a large number of government agencies and nonprofits, a sampling of which you can see here. To offer our clients the most advanced solutions possible, we maintain close partnerships with industry-leading technology companies, including Microsoft, IBM, and SAP. We offer end-to-end BI services, included all those listed here. We are an SAP Gold partner and have been a top-level partner for over 17 years. And as mentioned earlier, for training solutions, we are an SAP authorized training partner with classrooms in Minneapolis, Raleigh, and St. Louis, Missouri. Okay, well, that ends the brief intro to Done Solutions Group. Again, I welcome all of you to our webinar, and I'm going to turn it over to Manish for the presentation, which I will do right now. All right, Manish, make you the presenter.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Lori. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you so much for your time and the attendance to this webinar. I am a little noticeably nervous because this is the first time I am doing a webinar. I've done a lot of presentations, and I'm used to doing these kind of presentations face-to-face. I've done it for smaller crowds, but probably this is the biggest amount of people that I am doing a webinar to. It's difficult to do a webinar because you can't see the faces of the people and are they really enjoying it, or hopefully you guys are not sleeping. So I will start off by telling you something about the BI suite. I know some of you already are SAP customers and you know what are the SAP product offerings, but at a quick glance, what you see on my screen are the different application areas right within the data warehousing and business intelligence world that SAP has to offer. There are quite a few offerings for the EIM, information management platform. There are things for enterprise performance management, business forecasting, budgeting, planning, quite a few other products. But today we will be focusing on the business intelligence suite of products. Business intelligence has come a long way. It was called different things. Back in the day, it used to be called MIS systems. Then the data warehousing terminology came around, and it started. Then it was then called business intelligence. And the most recent and the fanciest name for business intelligence that we see as a buzzword now is big data. Looking at the product offering specifically within the BI suite from SAP, SAP actually had a fan diagram where they showed 5 different product categories. But SAP realized that because of these, there's so many new products that come out in the BI market, it's such an evolving and growing market that they did not want to add the 6th and the 7th and the 8th fan to that. So they broke it out into 3 different product lines, and we will be looking at all of these 3 product lines in the next 55 minutes. One of the product lines is self-service, where you are letting you're empowering your employees to be able to go look into the data, do their own slices and dices, not depend on IT for doing analysis and finding out what's wrong with my data or what's wrong with my business. The other side of it is dashboards and applications, where imagine a CEO of a company. As a CEO of a company, I wouldn't want to see a 300-page report on how we did yesterday. Show me a screen full of information. Are we doing good? Show me red, yellow, greens. Can I go and play golf today, or do I have to sit in the office all day and do pep talk with all of my employees? That is what is dashboards, one screen full of information. And the last set is reporting. Reporting in the BI world has been around forever, I will say. Reporting was first introduced in the 1980s. So 80s was the reporting era where somebody would create a canned report and distribute it out. It is still a very powerful medium, just that there are better tools available today. The 1990s was then an era about ad hoc reporting. So let the users create their own reports. 2000 came around, and that was more about dashboards, not just one big report, just one screen full of information. And the current decade, I would say, is more about not just self-service, but easier self-service, data exploration, data discovery. How can I do all of that? How can I find patterns in my data without waiting on IT? And we'll look through all of these different tool sets. So the way I am going to show this today is I am going to put on 3 different hats, and those 3 hats are here on the left. I will start off at the lowest level as an analyst who's not IT, but analysts are very IT savvy. They know the data. Quite a few analysts that I have worked with are also very capable of writing their own SQL. But why even go down to that complexity? Give them the right tool and they can do wonders with the data. They don't have to wait on IT. They don't have to explain to IT as to what they want and how these patterns match. So we'll look through the analyst hat, the analyst role as the very first thing, and then I'll move on to the other roles. But without much further ado, let me go ahead and show you what an analyst would be doing. So I have a product here up on my screen. I will go ahead and open something that I've already created for this demo. So while that opens, this is a very powerful tool specifically focused towards analysts who are not satisfied with a report or with a dashboard. They have different kinds of questions all of the time. There's no one fixed set of questions that they want to ask. They want to segue from one question to another. If they find an anomaly, they want to drill down into the data right away and not have to wait on IT. So this is the kind of screen that you would see, and a very powerful product which lets you grab data from your corporate data warehouse. Not always all the data is in the warehouse, right? Ask an analyst and say, does the corporate DW serve all your purposes? The answer most often than not will be, no, it doesn't. Even though 80% of the data will come from the warehouse and would satisfy most of the people in the company, an analyst may have an Excel file sitting somewhere. Maybe I have budgets that are not in the warehouse yet. Maybe I just got the budgets done yesterday and I want to compare them to actuals for last year. So this tool lets you pull in data from multiple sources. I already have data pulled in from one source here. And even apart from pulling it from multiple sources, it will let you do a lot of data correction, especially data coming from Excel may match up with your corporate data. The product names may be different. So you can do a lot of cleaning up of your data right within this tool. So as an example, let me go ahead and click on city here. So it automatically highlights city, and on the right panel here you would see a list of all the cities that I have. I can go ahead, split them. I can do multiple things with the cities. I can trim and take out spaces. Fortunately for me, in this example, I have hierarchies built in, so I don't need to do that. But say for a product hierarchy, I can create a named group right here. Quite a few things that you would do on a day-to-day basis in Excel, like data transformation or cleanup of little things, or you know what, I have a date. How do I find which quarter that date falls under? Those kind of things can be done right here with the tool. So as an example, I click on the date column. There it's showing me all of the dates and how many records I have for the dates. I can go ahead and write a formula. I can call this quarter, and I can write a formula without any knowledge of the tool. Let me go ahead and search for the function called quarter. There it is. I double click on quarter and I say for the date. Let me go ahead and click on OK. So they're telling me a new calculated dimension has been created for me. They're looking at the quarter numbers. Right at a glance, I know most of my records are coming from quarter 2 over any other period. I can do a whole lot more. I can create hierarchies based on either time or geography. So I can do a lot of data preparation here, and then when all of that data is prepared and ready to go, I can at a glance see, oh yeah, I have 12 product lines and I have 34 product categories under those product lines. So very powerful tool for an analyst to be able to prepare your data. But that's not the end of it. What do you do after you prepare your data? If you notice, I have 4 different tabs on the top. So the product allows you to acquire data and prepare it. It'll allow you to visualize the data, and then it'll allow you to compose a story, so that once you have all of your data prepared, you can share it with others, compose a story and then share it with others. So let's look at the next step here and see how does the visualization portion of this analysis looks. So there I click on visualization, and this is one visualization as an analyst that I use very often. So you see I already have the data pulled in, I already have the charts created. Down at the bottom I have different charts saved out. So with just a few clicks I am able to see what different quarters I am doing sales in over the years. And look at that, my sales have been going up consistently. So this is the 4 quarters of 2009 versus the first 2 quarters of 2012. The bars are higher in 2012, which is good news. Quite a few other charts that I have already created for this demo, so I could have shown it to you without doing it on the fly here. But we will also create a few, so you know how easy or difficult it is. There we go, looking at sales revenue by different countries. That's the blue line. The yellow line is telling me how is the line total going across and what are the margins. So if I would see a country with high sales but not enough margin, that would be a red flag right there. So quite a few that are already created. Let me show you how would I create a new analysis here. So I go ahead and click on the little plus icon on the right, and then I say I want to do a pie chart. Let me say I want to create a pie chart for sales by city. With my sales revenue. So I go ahead and click on sales revenue. Now it's asking me to add a dimension. Let me first go ahead and add country. So there I have a lot of countries in the data set, and that obviously will be too difficult to focus on. Maybe I only care about US. So let me go ahead and filter this data for the US. There, the biggest piece, the biggest slice of the pie is the US. I go ahead and click on that and I say filter. So now at a glance I am looking at data for US only. I can then go ahead and add city. Yeah, so I'm looking at now sales revenue by city for the US. I can also say sort it in the descending order. Maybe I like a pie chart. Maybe I can do it as a bar chart. So at a glance, I see which are my best cities. New York stands out there with almost 7 million in revenue compared to Houston, which is about 5.5 million. So at a glance, you see your numbers right here. Here's another cooler way to see this. Let me go ahead and save this first. So I click on the save button. I can also add multiple revenues. If I add cities here, or multiple measures. So there, now at a glance, I can compare sales revenues and margin right on one view. I can change it to different view types. I can do a stacked column right here. That'll tell me what are we doing. Line charts too, the ones that we saw before. So there are multiple types of charts. But when it comes to looking at geographical data, the one that I like best are, of course, geo charts. If I go ahead and convert this into a geo chart, and I say, show me the data by city, let me in fact start with a smaller chart. What if I just say show me a bubble chart, or even just an area chart? So there it is showing me the different cities that I have. If I want to roll this up, I can roll it up by different types. So I can roll it up by region. There we go. So a few more clicks and I see, look at that. Even though in terms of cities, New York was the best city, Texas on the whole has more sales in terms of states than New York does. Going back down to city. Sorry about that. I'll make it a little easier for navigation. There's some very cool visualizations here where I can say, show me the sales by city, but also show me a pie chart on every city by product line. Once I do that, it throws a pie chart on top of every city, and at a glance I know, okay, LA, sweat t-shirts were my best selling products. Let me go ahead and save this visualization. So as you can see there, I would have multiple visualizations that I save, into my favorites here down at the bottom. When I come into this every time, I don't have to start over. I just come in, I hit the refresh button, get the latest and the greatest in terms of data, and start looking at my visualizations. Once I have my visualizations done, I can create what is called a storyline. So I go ahead and click on the Compose tab on the top. I'll give it a name called sales revenue, and I can then go ahead, start drag and drop of my objects. So there I show that, and that's specifically for the US. Why don't I go ahead and add another one down at the bottom here, so I see the map of US and also how US is doing compared to other countries. I can also create filters on the fly right here. So I can say, why don't I go ahead and do product lines? So there is one created. Let me click on the view button there now. So if I want to look at this, both of these visualizations only for leather, I come in and I click on leather and my data automatically changes. Look at how the pie only has one color now because I'm only looking at one product line. The breakout was for multiple product lines. So it's affecting both of my visualizations right here at the same time. I can go ahead and add more storyboards. So say that is my first storyboard. I add another one. And on this one, I want to show two different charts this time. Maybe let me pick a different format rather than the same one all the time. There. I would create that. I'll go ahead and save the storyboard. And once you have all of this information saved out, you may want to share it with others in your organization. So there, I'll go ahead and click on the share button. You have quite a few options to share the visualizations that you've created here. You can export it as a file, as an Excel file, and send it to someone. You can publish it if you have the BI platform. You can publish it to the BI platform. So I can say publish to Explorer. It'll ask me to log in. And I can log in, connect, and save. I already, by the way, I've saved a visualization. And I can show that to you on the platform here. So let's get a quick recap of what this tool could do for an analyst. So Lumira it's a desktop application. It can import and combine data from multiple sources. You have the options to enrich the data right within the tool. You don't have to do it in your source first and then import it, and if there's something wrong, you keep going back and forth between your source, which could be an Excel file, or which could be data coming from your corporate data warehouse or a universe. So you can do your data enrichments right on the fly. And then even visualizations, it has an awesome visualization library that you can pick from. It can handle very large data sets, and the best part about it is it's not just limited to the analyst. Once the analyst does all the analysis, finds out the patterns, and he wants to share the data, he or she wants to share the data with someone, they can do it with just a few clicks. With that said, analysts usually need more power than most other people in the business. But with more power comes more responsibility, right? Let me put on my other hat, which is a line of business manager. I need answers quickly as to how is my line of business doing? How did I do compared to over a period of time? What are the different products I sold under my line of business? How am I doing compared to other cities where some other manager is maybe doing better than me, or I am doing better than some other cities? Why can't we share what we're doing better and then spread across? So my focus is more on business, and I have very little time to go and massage the data. The first tool that I saw for the analyst is great, but I don't have time to pull in all the data. So a similar view has been created for the line of business managers. And let me show you what that looks like. So all they need is a browser. And whenever I'm doing these demos, the question always comes up that, does it only work with IE? Does it work with Chrome? Does it work with Firefox? The answer is yes, it works with all major browsers. And to prove the point, more often than not, I do my demos now with Chrome. So I have Chrome up on the screen here. It's a standard URL that will be given. This will be my BI platform. That is, all my employees would have access to the platform. I log into the platform. By the way, I wanted to show you the login screen. The platform can also do things like single sign-on. So you would never see the login screen. It would know who you are because you've logged into your machine with your Windows 80 username and password. It will automatically know that, and it will pass on that information to the BI platform, which will log you in. That's a cool dashboard that I have up on the screen, but I will save the best for the last. I will talk about dashboards a little later in this demo. Why don't I show you how would a line of business manager explore the data without knowing too much? So they start up, go to the screen. One common theme that we all have in our head, and I've always asked these questions when I do live demos as to, if you want some information, where do you go? And the answer more often than not is Google. And what does Google offer you? A very easy interface where you don't need to know much. Type in, punch in your keywords, and it'll give you the information. It's a very similar concept that SAP has brought in here, where you just need to know your keywords that you're looking for. You don't need to know where the data exists. You don't need to know, is it in a HANA database? Is it an in-memory database like HANA? Is it SQL Server? Is it sitting somewhere outside of the organization where I'm getting it from, say, like a DNB? all I do is I come in here and I type in my keywords and what I'm looking for. So putting on my line of business manager hat, I am the line of business manager for Chicago, and my line of business, I manage sales for t-shirts. So when I come in, I type in Chicago t-shirt sales and I click on search. Uh-oh, I made an error there. Look at that. I mistyped t-shirts. I forgot to add a T. But the tool is smart enough to tell you, hey, what you were looking for is actually Chicago t-shirt sales. It will automatically add the T for you, and it will give you the different links where you can find the information. It is also, if you see on the left here, it is scoring your links. So the best link will be on the very top, and then the least amount would be at the bottom. So this is the one actually I created and I put in here from the analyst point of view. So the analyst can create these and put them up here. So as a manager, I can go in and start looking at what they've created rather than try to create something from scratch. Also, if you notice, Chicago is not metadata. Chicago is data. It's the name of a city. It's not the city. Think of it as a table where it's not the header of a table. It is the data inside of a table. The same goes for t-shirts, whereas sales revenue is an actual metric that you're looking at. It's not within the data, but it's the header. So the tool is smart enough to look through not just your metadata, but also through your data, rank it and say, this is probably what you're looking at. So why don't I go ahead and look at the link here. And also the tool is very smart. Just because you looked for a few keywords, it is automatically going to highlight those keywords. So if you see Chicago here is in orange, so is anything that has shirts in it. So shirt waist, t-shirts, and that goes across the board. And also because I was looking for, also because I was looking for sales revenue, it is already giving me data for sales revenue. So down at the bottom, it is giving me a chart for my top 12 cities, and I see Chicago falls right on the middle there. Now I only care about Chicago, so let me do this. Let me click on Chicago and say filter the data only for Chicago. So there it automatically knows. The next thing you're probably looking after Chicago is for product lines. So it's automatically switched from the city to product lines information here, filtering Chicago. Now it's also showing me the data up on the top here as numbers. Let me go ahead and click on expanding the visualization so I don't see those numbers. Say, okay, that's good. Where are my sweatshirts? There it is. So there, that's how Chicago did for sweatshirts. Let me go ahead and see for sweatshirts, how did other companies do? So I can segue from one question to another. So there I'm filtering for sweatshirts. It's showing me the different products here. I can say, show it to me for all the cities by city. So with 2 more clicks, I'm now able to look for sweatshirt sales across all of the cities. Okay, sales are good numbers, but how did I do in terms of margin? So with 2 more clicks, I am able to compare the data for sales and margins. I have multiple visualization types here that I can change. So there, at a glance, I can see, yeah, most of these cities are pretty consistent. Their margin and their sales are pretty okay for sweatshirts. Is that consistent across all product lines? Let me go ahead and see how are overcoats doing. We're very related to sweatshirts. There, I see some differences here where Chicago is right in the middle. Look at that. Colorado Springs has actually lower margin compared to the sales that they're doing. An easier way to see this also would be maybe pie charts. So there, New York has 25% of the sales for t-shirts, but they are actually doing a little bit better in terms of margin. So their margin is higher. Multiple different chart types are also available here. I can look at trending information, and I can on the fly do this for different cities. I can filter right here. So your imagination is your limit. You can go from one visualization to another, one question to another on the fly. Also, you don't have to rebuild all of this all of the time. Just like the sharing options for the analyst, you have the same sharing options here as well. So maybe you created some visualization. Let me add in something so we can see the graphs and the charts. Maybe I like that visualization and I want to save it for future. So when I come in, I directly land on this visualization page. What I could do is I can create a bookmark right here. So that saves it to my browser's favorite. The next time I come in, I directly click on that link. It'll ask me to log on or single sign me in and directly show me this visualization. Also, once the visualization is created, I can email it to someone, or I can also share it. I can say, yep, take the data out and put it in an Excel file, so I can send the Excel to someone. Or you can also say image. So there, it will take the image and it will save it out for you. But my most favorite, my best option is this option called Web Intelligence, where it will take the data and it will put it on the BI platform for you in the form of a report. So you can then go ahead and send that report to someone, which will have all of the details, not just the visualization. There we go. And I will come back to the platform and I will show you where it's saved and a quick peek at that as well. Another feature that I love with this tool is you can club together your visualizations. So just like the one that we were looking at, you can have 3 or 4 different visualizations clubbed together and make it your own mini dashboard. Let me show you what that looks like. So if I go back to the Home tab here and I say show me the list of view sets, this is one of my favorite view sets. So I've already pre-created this, and by the way, this is all end user functionality. You do not need any IT help to create any of these visualizations. Once the data is in a warehouse and you have your common plumbing, aka universe, it drives off of all of those nice things on your BI platform. Security is already taken care of. So it's not like from an IT team's perspective, these are not one-offs or silos that businesses are creating that will become a IT headache when you want to upgrade your system. They are all in one place under one secure environment. So coming back to the visualization here, there I have saved this visualization. This one's my personal favorite, where I have 2 different visualizations, and I can continue to do more slicing and dicing here. So say I only want to look at data for 2010. Just with one click, both of my chart types are changing and showing me only 2010 data. So let's take a quick preview of, let's take a quick recap of what we have seen so far as a line of business manager. So we looked at this tool which will enable managers on a browser-based interface with the simplicity and speed of internet search. So just like you're searching, you enter a few keywords and you find your relevant information. It's very highly visual. You can segue from one question to another. You don't have to have any knowledge of the technology. And learning this tool is as quick as 10 minutes. Now again, as a business manager, I may also want to see a detailed report on how did I do in terms of sales for the entire year. I may need a line-by-line report by product line, by state. And that is where something like ad hoc reporting comes into play. Let me show you the features of ad hoc reporting. I come back to my platform and I will say, go ahead and create a new report. Again, it's all browser based. I do not have to have anything installed locally other than a browser and a Java runtime environment. more often than that, more often than not, you would have Java on your computers. Most applications in a corporation are based on Java. So I would say go ahead and pull the data using a universe. I see a bunch of universes here. For those of you who do not know what a universe is, it is basically something that a BI developer would go ahead and create for the business, where you're translating database lingo into business language. So from a business person's point of view, I will see related objects. I will see objects that I can relate to, like year, sales revenue, city, state, product line. I don't need to worry about what table they're coming from, how these tables join together, what is the column called. It is not fact underscore sales dot sales revenue, or SLS REV. All I need to know is I need to pull in sales revenue. So let's quickly go ahead and see what or how we would do that. So pick a universe, and we see in business terms what do I want to pull. So let me say I want to create a report for sales by store by product line. So there I see year, drag and drop. Imagine dragging and dropping in a web interface, and I said sales. There's my product lines. I could also double click if you noticed, and sales revenue. Maybe I'll throw in margin here as well. So that's all I need to do. The tool is smart enough to know where the data is, what is the SQL that it should be writing. So if I just give you a quick peek, the tool did write the SQL behind the scenes for me. It will go ahead and fire that SQL against the database, get the results back, and show it to you in a very friendly environment. Let's see how that works. So once I click on the run query button, it goes all the way to the database, gets the latest and the greatest data for you. There is no kind of cube caching here that you need to rebuild and do other stuff over and above. Say your data warehouse refresh. If the data is coming from your data warehouse, as soon as the data warehouse is ready, you are ready to run the numbers. You don't have to wait for other processes to finish, which is maybe refreshing a cube. So there, we are looking at the most basic report. I can say, go ahead and add another report for me and only show me sales by year and product line. Just those three things. Keep it clean for me. Or maybe even year, state, and sales. Click, drag, drop. With a few clicks, you get your numbers right away with very little knowledge of the database and how the data is organized. I can resize my columns, I can move my tables around. It's a very user-friendly interface. One thing that most analysts and not just analysts but even business people do is in Excel, people love pivot tables. And Excel's gotten better at pivot tables over the years. But you tell me if it is as easy as one click, second click, and third click. With 3 clicks, I get a pivot table right on my screen. Just like in Excel, I can go ahead and add multiple tabs. So I'll go ahead and create one more tab, maybe pull in those 3 objects again and say, you know what, this time break the data out by year. Just one click and one drag, you get your data broken out by year. There you go. Now I can also say, I want to see that data as a visual, so maybe even as a pie chart. So I will go ahead and copy that table with a simple drag and drop, right click, and turn it into a pie chart. So with a few more clicks, I have a nicely formatted report by year for different states. I want to see the total? Sure. It's again a few more clicks, and I'll say submit. There, I can now see my sales revenue per year broken by state. Once I have that, I'll go ahead and click on the save button, and I will save this onto the platform. I can also add quite a bit of interactivity to this report. So as an example here, this is a lot of information. Maybe I don't want to look at all these states, all of these years. I can very easily add what we call some input controls. So I will say filter this by, let's say, product lines. That's the one dimension that's not being displayed on here. And let me say a combo box. And finish. So there. Now I am seeing this for all of the product lines, but as, say, an LOB manager, if I only care for one product line, I come in and I click on that product line and my data changes for just that one product line. I can also do not just one, but I could do multiple filters. Maybe I add another filter for year, and I'll make it a little different this time. I will say allow me to pick multiple years rather than just 1 year. I click on finish, and that's a different, I have checkboxes now, not just a selection of one. So there, I can then cut down the amount of data. Once I have that, let me go ahead and save that. I can click on this report and save it into some other format. And I'll say, you know what, save it on my desktop as an Excel file. So there it is. That's the exact report I created, and I was able to export it to Excel. The cross tabs come through, and here's the coolest part. You also get the graphics and the data, not just the data. So coming back, ad hoc reporting has existed for over 15 years now in the BI industry. And SAP, this was originally a business objects product that was brought over by SAP, and for almost all of these 15 years, business objects and SAP have been the leading ad hoc report providers or self-service providers for reporting. Coming back to my platform, once I have the report, I'm done with the report, I can go ahead, close out of the report, and this is the BI platform. This is what I will call the mothership of everything that you do BI within your entire organization. So this is where all your reports would be saved. That's the one that I saved just now. You would have corporate reports. So I have a lot of accesses, but you could have different folders for different departments. Maybe you have a folder for HR department and it's all secure, so only HR people will be able to see those reports. Security at multiple levels is a part of the platform. You can see an object or you cannot see an object. You can also go down to what we call row level security. So you could have multiple people given access to the same report, but all of them only see their own data. So me as, say, a manager of Minneapolis, I come in and I open a report, I only see my Minneapolis numbers. Somebody from Chicago comes in, they only see Chicago numbers on the same report. But say a director of the company comes in who should see all of the regions, all of the cities, will be able to do that on the same report. So you don't have to create 5 different versions of the report, one for every manager that you have. Also, once you have a report, what you could do is, I like this report. Rather than me coming into the platform every day, is there an easier way to push this report to me rather than me coming in and pulling it all the time? Sure, all you do is right click and click on schedule. Here you would define how often do you want your report to run. So I will say maybe run daily, every one day at 8 a.m. And once the report is done, export it as a PDF file and email it to me. So I don't want to wait here now, plug in the email and wait for the email to come to me. But once you do that, the report is scheduled and will be sent out on whatever you've picked. Let me show you one example of a report that I have regularly scheduled and emailed to me. So once you have the report scheduled and emailed, you can still come to the platform and see historic instances of the report. So every time the report is run and sent out, you can instruct the platform to save a copy. Like on this report, I've instructed the platform to save 10 most recent copies of the report. So if I need to see what the report looked like last week, I don't have to hunt through my email. I can come in here at a glance, see when all has the report run, and okay, April 15th, sure, that's the report I want to look at. Click on it and it shows you what the report looked like at that day. So there's a lot of flexibility that you get here with the platform where you can create your own reports with very little IT involvement, a very powerful tool. So again, the platform is browser based where you get access to all your BI content. You can be an analyst, you can be a line of business LOB manager, or you could be the CEO of the company. This will be a one-stop shop. You can search for different things across the platform. You can schedule it and distribute it, not have to be manual. It can be pushed to you rather than being pulled every time. And by the way, I talked about security, so the entire platform is secured. Not every report has to be available to everyone. With that said, that actually brings me to my last hat, which is a CEO's hat. Now, as a CEO of a company, yeah, I have these cool BI tools, but do I really have the time and the inclination to create my own report or do data exploration? As we talked about, most C-level people care about, here are my 5 metrics. Show to me on one screen, how is my business doing? Is it doing good? Are there any anomalies that I need to look at a very high level? And then also give me the option to drill into the data if I have to. So that said, let me take you back to the platform and show you what a dashboard would look like. So if you remember, when we logged in for the first time, we were greeted by a dashboard like this one. This is, by the way, that I have picked as my favorite dashboard and made it my home page. So every time I log into the platform, this is what I am greeted by. So I may have more other dashboards and more reports, and I don't have to go hunting for them. I get into the platform, I see the view right away. And I can also do a lot of slicing and dicing right within these dashboards. So this is a dashboard that tells me, as a dean of a college, how many students do I have enrolled in different programs. So let me see, how am I doing for the law program? So with a few clicks here, I'm able to see how are my enrollments by year. So look at that. It's actually good. The enrollments are more or less static between 2012 and 2013. A few other things that you can look at. There are multiple different tabs that you can set up on your own. So IT will create these dashboards for you. But the concept of dashboards don't have too much information on one dashboard, so you want to restrict and not have too crowded a dashboard, but you can always have tabs and look at multiple dashboards at one go. Also, if there is something that, I know the data is somewhere there and I do not look at it on a daily basis. Why don't I have it sitting aside, but I can access it whenever I want? So here's an example of another dashboard. So I go in and I click on this dashboard, and it'll allow me to do a lot of slices and dices. Those are my slicing informations. My data will change depending on what I click. I have some nice visualizations, sparkline charts to tell me how is the trend been over the last 12 months. Is it going up? Is it going down? With the dashboard, and we specialize in building customized dashboard for our clients, and I always tell the clients, with the dashboard, you are only limited by your imagination on what you want to put there. It's a blank canvas. You decide how your canvas should look, and it can be built. It's also very powerful in doing a lot of slicing and dicing and what if scenarios. So like in here, I have multiple tabs, so I can look at sales, I can look at revenue, I can look at it for a given year, and I can say show me top 10 or bottom 10, so I know where I'm really doing good or where I'm not doing that good. Let's take a quick look at what dashboards are and what functionality do they have to offer. You can look at your company performance right at a glance. Most people think I need 30 or 40 metrics to see how my business is doing. The truth is, you're probably, from your perspective, from say you're a CEO of a company, or maybe in a different role, you have 4 or 5 important metrics which are called KPIs, key performance indicators, on what you care about and how your company is doing. You can club those all together in a highly interactive and visual model and put it on one screen. Also, one good thing about dashboards is you are not limited to what you see on the screen. You're limited by your screen size, but if there is an anomaly, you can go from a dashboard, click into, write the details. So if you see a red on a dashboard, doesn't mean, oh, there's something wrong and I don't know what's wrong. You can click in and see the exact amount of detail as to what went wrong. Some more information about canned reporting. The one piece that I would have wanted to cover is the mobility piece. So everything that you saw today with reporting, with dashboards, and with exploration is all available on mobile devices. SAP has an app for both iOS and Android platforms for you to be able to access all of this information in a very intuitive way on mobile devices. Unfortunately, the time is too short to show you something on mobile devices, but we already have a demo that we did 2 weeks back, maybe about 3 weeks back, for mobiles. If you're interested, please reach out to Laurie or me, and we can send you a video recording link for the mobile piece of this of the product. That brings me actually to the end of my presentation with about 5 minutes to spare. Laurie, if you are up for it, we can open it up for any Q&As that we have.
Okay, thank you, Manish. Yeah, indeed, we do have a few minutes. We haven't had any questions submitted yet, but to our audience, if you did have any questions throughout the presentation, please do submit them now if we have some time. And we'll give just a moment to see if any questions come through. If not, we'll wrap things up. This webinar has been recorded, and we will share a link to the recording with all of you, probably early next week. So please do feel free to share that with colleagues that may not have been able to attend.
Thank you. And a couple of next steps for us. If you liked anything that you see, I know we had very limited time and we had to cover a lot of ground in this time, so I actually went pretty fast. But if you like what you've seen and you need more information, please reach out to us, and we could probably do the same demo or maybe even a customized version of this demo for your organization.
Absolutely. Manish, a few kind comments for you on what a nice job you did. So.
Thank you very much, Laurie.
All right. Yeah, here's a good one for you, Manish. So we have an attendee who doesn't have a technical staff, and they're wondering if Dun can provide services to set up the data and build the reports and dashboards and such.
Absolutely. This goes up to our third slide in terms of what we provide in terms of services. We do anything and everything data warehousing. So we can help you come in, set up your BI environment, help you get a few quick wins with the new BI environment, and also do the end-to-end EIM and data warehousing environment, where we would come in and design the data warehouse for you and design the ETL and implement it all for you, and get out of your way and still be available for support. So we get you to a point where you're self-sufficient but are available to help you if you need help.
Excellent, thank you. And Manish, is Lumira part of the basic BI Suite package?
Yes. Now, I wouldn't want to comment on any specific licensing, but if a customer is licensed with the BI Suite and it was done after Lumira was released, then the answer is yes, Lumira is a part of the BI Suite. You don't have to buy it separately.
Okay, so that, just to confirm, that's version 4.1 and above, or 4.1, the current version, right?
You're right.
Okay.
Lumira also is available as a standalone product. So if you like what you saw and you want to only use it against Excel data source, you can still go ahead and get what is called a personal copy of Lumira. So you don't have to get the whole platform, but you can still get a lot of slicing and dicing done with the Lumira personal copy.
Excellent. Okay, any additional questions out there? All right. Manish, thank you very much. To all of our attendees as well, thank you for joining us today. If you have any additional questions about the product or about our services, we do invite you to reach out, and we will follow up with you early next week with the recording and also with invitations to additional webinars around this product. Thank you, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your week. Bye, Manish.
Bye-bye.